It has so many advantages. So there will be no fraud because anytime anything that is being done, the owner must be informed. You have to register with Ardhisasa. And the person buying must also register with Ardhisasa.
What is Ardhisasa?
Basically, Ardhisasa is purely blood management system.
Is it anyone who can just register, or are there specific people who are allowed to register on Ardhisasa?
If you are the owner of that title, you need to register.
And is there a cost related to registration?
No.
Currently, if I still have the old copy of my title, can I still buy and sell my land using that old title?
Yes.
If you've been thinking about buying land in Kenya, or if you already own a piece of land in Kenya, you've probably heard about Ardhisasa system. But you could be wondering, what is Ardhisasa, how does it work, and how does it apply to you? Today, you are in luck. Whether you are a buyer, a seller, or you are just an investor who is seeking to invest in land in Kenya, today we are going to talk about Ardhisasa system, and we are lucky to have Mr. Kamau here with us, who has been a land surveyor and a registered real estate agent in Kenya for so many years. Welcome to Mr. Nje here to the podcast.
Welcome.
Now, I would want us to just get into it, start discussing what the system is. Now, let's begin with the bigger picture around Ardhisasa. Maybe in brief, you could explain to us what is Ardhisasa and the kind of problems it's aiming to solve.
Basically, Ardhisasa is purely land management system. Any transaction that you need to do with your land, you need to use Ardhisasa. And this Ardhisasa you must have registered, and the property must also be digitized and put in the program of Ardhisasa so that when anything you'll be doing, it will be reflected within the system. The advantage of it is that it's faster, convenient. It has so many advantages. So we can say that it will be managing your pocket of your land individually. Anything that somebody wants to do on that land, you have to make sure that Ardhisasa will send a code for you to accept or reject. So there will be no fraud because anytime anything that is being done, the owner must be informed. The government is trying to digitize everything, just like the traffic, NTSA. When you speed and the camera gets you, you have real time message telling you that you have been going to these kilometers at a speed of this kilometer and your fine is this and you pay online. Just the same thing, even Ardhisasa will be just like that when it will be fully implemented. As of now, we have only digitized Nairobi, but maybe not 100%, but almost 90. We have also done Murang'a, which is also around 90. We have done Mombasa, which is also around 60. We have done Isiolo, which is about 70. If it is fully rolled out within the country, the transfers, searches, and everything will be done with the easiest and fastest time possible. Within 2 or 3 days, you will have done your transfer. This one eliminates so many people when it comes to transfer. The government is also now going also to benefit because all money will be collected within the central one point with a pay bill. So you'll be paying online. So basically, everything will be online. There will be no paperwork. All those people who have their ad should also be able to download their titles in Ardhisasa so that you can have one pocket of all your titles. Even if you have 10, 20, they'll be in one pocket. That anybody wants to join or to enter to that pocket for that particular title, it will be notified by the system.
Now, you've talked in the beginning, you've talked about people need to register so that you get into the system. Is it anyone who can just register, or are there specific people who are allowed to register on Ardhisasa?
Ardhisasa, when we digitize all the titles,
Mhm.
if you are the owner of that title, you need to register. But if you don't have a RAD, why should you register? Not unless but when it will come to a point of buying, you also have to register, because that title, when it's being transferred, it will have to be transferred to your pocket of that Ardhisasa. It will have an individual pocket of Ardhisasa. Even if you buy 2-3 properties, all of them will be taken to that pocket. Any message will come to maybe your phone or your email.
And is there a cost related to registration?
No.
So you just log into a website,
You just go to websites and register.
If I have the old title and maybe I'm in Kiambu or I'm in Nairobi, how do I go about getting my title deed into the system?
After you have registered, you'll have to upload your title on Ardhisasa.
But currently, if I still have the old copy of my title, can I still buy and sell my land using that old title?
Yes. Fortunately or unfortunately, when you are transferring, now it will have to be converted. And at that point of selling, at that point of transfer, you have to register with Ardhisasa. And the person buying must also register with Ardhisasa. It's just like the way we do transfers vehicles, motor vehicles. You download to NTSA, do a transfer, message is sent to the other person, he accepts, he's given he pays the transfer fee, and you wait for now the logbook to be transferred. When you are going to pick the other logbook is when now you surrender this one. Yes.
Thank you. That makes it very easy to understand. But now that you've talked about NTSA, we've had instances where people have their own vehicles and you find that those vehicles are either transferred using these online systems. What safeguards is the government putting in place so that you don't upload your property there and then it's transferred? Because maybe you've spoken about you get a message, and we've seen people even replacing other people's phones. So it brings a risk that someone could replace your line, then they transact on Ardhisasa and transfer your property. And by the time you are replacing your line, you won't know that your land is already transferred. What safeguards do you think are already there, or something maybe for the government to
With
think about?
involving technology, we say fraudsters are more clever than the owners. That is why even if it's a house, when you find that a thief entered using you entered through a window, you have to put a grill on that window. When he enters through the door, you put a grill on the door. So basically in the system, there are safeguards. But with involving technology, the fraudsters are also coming with a new technology on how to defraud people. And those are the safeguards that we are still going to put. But at the moment, when you upload your title on Ardhisasa, it is taken, that information is taken to a pocket, an individual pocket. That anytime somebody wants to do a search or want to do anything with your title, that message must be posted to that pocket, and the pocket will send a message to you to either accept somebody to do a search or to do whatever you want to do. And if you reject, nothing will happen. So those ones are still there. But now with the system, we can say system and technology, there is a background, people who are operating it. And they might also be fraudsters. So these are the safeguards that we are still continuing doing. It's just like the way we started with ATMs. You can go withdraw the money. But now even fraudster can even get your money from your M-Pesa when you are seated here and you are not even near them. So those are the safeguards that we can say we are still continuing to modify. But at the moment we can say that is the best. Because even if something is happening, not unless it is hacked, you are sure of your RAD is there. And if you want to do a search, individually. You can do it online alone. For you, you are allowed to do such alone without even involving sending the message, because that property belongs to you.
If, let's say, for instance, you have a property that is undergoing succession, and as the process goes on, you'd want to have that property in Ardhisasa as the process of succession goes on. How do you go about that? Because the title is probably in someone else's name.
There is something called administration. Administration. There are people who have been given administration by the government, by the court.
Mhm.
The administrator can be able to upload the title on Ardhisasa, but that one you have to also apply right to the registrar.
Mhm.
So and you give him the copy from the court, very certified copy, saying that you are the administrator, so that you can upload it. Otherwise, somebody else cannot upload that title.
Okay. If, let's say, we jointly own property, between me and you, we are both listed on the title, whose responsibility will it be to upload the title on the system?
Either you can upload, but when you are uploading, there is a part whereby the contact details. That person will be contacted throughout. Sometimes if we are 3, 4 people, we advise people to use a lawyer. A lawyer will have that facility to do everything and to know everything. And the link between the lawyer, will have one person who is linked to the lawyer's account, so that anything that is being done and the information that is being sent to the lawyer is also sent to one person, not to so many people. It should either be sent to you or your advocate.
Yeah, you raise a very good point, because I'm thinking if several people own a property and the notification is going to one person,
Yes.
they may transact on the property without the other people's knowledge, or in case of transfer, will all the other owners need to confirm?
They will not confirm, but now the documents for transfer
Mhm.
you are uploading,
Mhm.
like the transfer form,
Mhm.
are manually. They will be signed. If that form, there is somebody verifying those documents behind the system. If he finds that that transfer form has not been signed by the relevant people, or the signatures are not matching, he will reject it. So there is somebody back office in Ardhisasa to verify those documents. And even if those documents are uploaded, they take time. Then there will be that part whereby now that document is taken to the posted to the valuer. The valuer will go to the system, pick that property, you get the coordinates. So with the coordinates, you'll be able to give the valuation of that area. So your property will be given valuation online. So even the invoice will be sent online, and you also pay online. After you pay is when it moves to the other section.
If I'm now ready to upload my title, is there a cost for getting the title into the system?
No, it is free. Unfortunately, we are selling people most of the titles. People upload the title, but a title is not a legal document. A title becomes legal when the process is legal. So if you have a fake title and you want to upload, do you think it will go through? It will go through up to 50%. And most of them, you hear people saying that I uploaded mine, but it has not gone beyond 50. There is a document that you need to download in the system so that the back office can take that transaction to the other level. You will find that if you buy a plot, and maybe you are supposed to download the transfer documents, and maybe you must download the agreement, it will reach 50%, it will stop there until now you upload all the documents. Unfortunately, the back office will not contact you. That is why it is necessary for you to follow up. After 2 days, and you see that that thing is not, the system is still going around at 50, you need to contact the ministry to ask for what is happening, so that they can tell you, we need this document to move to the other stage.
Okay. You raise a good point, and let me just double down on it. If I upload a document, and let's say it's a clean document, and I follow up whenever they send me a notification, I do. If I need to upload a document, I do. How long would they take from moving a title from the manual system and getting it completely online?
If everything is okay and the system is working, the network is there,
Mhm.
7 days are enough.
Okay. And during those 7 days, uh, what have you been seeing for many people trying to get their documents online? What have you been seeing as most of the mistakes that commonly people make? You've identified one, not downloading the document. What other mistake do you see people making that is delaying the process of conversion?
People download a title, a hard copy,
Mhm.
they download it and they wait for it to be taken to Ardhisasa. But there is a supporting documents, because if you have a title that was transferred, in fact, the Ardhisasa is now looking at all that came from the government. From the government, the title came to the first owner, the second owner, the third owner. All those documents must be on the file for it to be complete. Some of the documents they might not ask from you, because already they have them. Because when you transfer, you bought a RAD before, all those documents are in file somewhere. Those are the files that we are trying to, the system is trying to download. That is what we are calling an enumeration. We make sure that all the documents are there so that it goes to the final stage. Otherwise, if those documents are not there, it will not go to the final stage.
Which brings my understanding is in the process of this buying and selling of land, you must get a land valuation done and pay stamp duty.
Hmm.
From Ardhisasa, maybe you could give us a broad overview of how do you get that land valued and also pay stamp duty on the land.
Everything will be done online. You don't even need to ask for valuation. When you download that transfer document, that document, when it is taken, going to the system, there is a stage that after maybe 40%, it will go to a valuation. There will be a valuer at the back office who will pick that number. He will put it in the digitized map. He will know that plot where it is, and he knows the valuation of that area. So he will automatically take the value of that area, will compute the valuation, and the invoice will be sent automatically. You don't have to contact anybody.
What would you do if you feel the value they've assigned to land it's so high?
That's a big challenge, because most of our valuers don't have any interest with your ad. So, or in Nairobi, we have zoned so these areas. We know that this zone, the value is going to this. This value is going to in this zone, the value goes to this. It is valuation goes with a zone plus how near it is from the road, if it's commercial or if it's residential, and whether it's a built up area. Those are they are factors that they look at when they are doing valuation.
The way I'm seeing this, I'm looking at Ardhisasa is looking more and more like a system where once you do everything like buying and selling offline, then you go to Ardhisasa to effect the process of search and transfer. Now, I know for in Kenya, many people get condo when buying land. What are some of the key steps you usually advise people to follow in case they are buying and selling land, particularly someone who is seeking to buy, so that by the time they are getting into Ardhisasa, everything else has been
The
sorted
first
out?
thing you need to do is to do a search, and you must do a search online. If it is not, if the search is generated, then that means everything in that title is correct. If the search does not come out, then it shows that land before up to where it is, that title has a problem, and you need to correct that problem. When you correct that problem, then everything else will be very easy. But because when you buy, your lawyer might download those documents for you, or the seller can do it on your behalf. But now that you have bought, we always say this person can also refuse to download them, because you have already given out the money. So as far as we are downloading, we would encourage members to use lawyers to download for them, just the normal way, because even the transaction has been seen through by the lawyer. So let the lawyer download, and you also be following the system. You'll be following up. And also, when the lawyer download it, make sure that your contact is given in Ardhisasa, so that any information that goes to the lawyer also reaches you. And when it comes to payments, that information is not coming to you, the lawyer might be, the invoice might be sent to the lawyer. It says you pay 50,000, and the lawyer tells you it's 100,000. You will not know. But if your contacts are there, as much as the invoice is being sent to the lawyer, if you are also going to get a copy, so you'll know how much. The lawyer does not need to contact you. You just need to put money in your M-Pesa, pay it online, and when you pay online, the system will detect it, and it moves to another level.
That's good to hear. What has been happening, and I see that the more I read news, I see this person has been conned their land, this person has lost their land. What would be like an ideal process? Like if I'm trying to buy a piece of land, what should be the ideal process from me thinking I want to buy land to just getting that title in my name?
Now, the process of buying and selling is a whole topic. Before you even come to Ardhisasa, we are only talking of doing a search and also now transfer and paying of stamp duty and maybe processing of the title until when they said the message to you that you can collect your title. You surrender the old one and pick the new one. So that is purely now on Ardhisasa. When it comes to buying and selling, you need first to know, to identify what you want. And you will not identify it through Ardhisasa. So that is a totally different area whereby now we need to have a session on land buying session. How you identify the land, how you do the search, how you also do due diligence. Due diligence matters with the area because if it is within a town, the plots are so near each other. You can use the estate resident association to tell you who owns the plot or whether it was a public utility. But when it comes also to rural areas, you know that land belongs to a certain clan. So if you go to the assistant chief, ama hawa wazee wa kijiji, they will tell you this land belonged to this person. It was subdivided. It was bought to this. You'll have that history, and that is why sometimes we make a joke that if you want to do due diligence, you make a joke by saying that you go and ask for border riders and bad drinkers. Whatever, they will tell you the truth because they know the history of that area. And getting the history of any land, you don't expect the lawyer to do due diligence for you. The lawyer will do the search for you. You make the transaction very smooth. But doing due diligence is upon the buyer. Sometimes those people don't know much about land. You will not know whether it was a public land. But if you are buying it within a town, if you go to Ardhisasa and there's a section we call SPLO. They have a full file that this land used to be a colonial land, ilikuwa ya mzungu, it was subdivided all this way, and this land was left to be a public utility. After corruption and all that, even the public utility has been subdivided and titles has been issued. So to know all that, you need now to go backwards and do that due diligence from the office. In fact, most of the people should know that before you do that, before you subdivide and get titles, there is something we call part development plan. That's a PDP that is supposed to be approved by the county government. That one will give you the history of the land, how it was subdivided, which this was left to be a public utility, this was left to be a school, this was left to be a dispensary. All those ones are indicated in that development plan. I'm not sure whether the council have that data, but the people on the ground have that data. That's what we call due diligence.
That's an interesting topic, and as you said, it needs its own discussion entirely.
Yeah.
And I hope if you get some time, you will come in and discuss that with us so that we can be able to tap in all the knowledge that you have.
Yes.
But before we shoot that next episode, and as we wait to get there, and let's say someone has a burning question around Ardhisasa or buying of land or anything to do with doing land survey, how can people reach out to you? So, Mr. Nje here, you've correctly identified that for us to go through the process of buying and selling of land, we need to go through an entirely different session. And I hope you will get some other time to come and speak to us around that. In the meantime, for someone who has a burning question or would want to reach out to you either as a real estate agent, which you are a registered real estate agent, or someone who is looking support in matters Ardhisasa, or just normal land surveillance in Kenya, how can they get in touch with you?
Okay, they can reach me on jhiak at gmail.com.
Thank you so much, Mr. Njehia, for just getting the time and coming to talk to us about Ardhisasa, and also promising that you'll be coming whenever you have time so that we can demystify the buying and selling of land in Kenya. We know how important it is to just move the industry and get the real estate industry moving. Thank you so much for making the time. And to our viewers and listeners, thank you so much for sticking to us to the end of the episode. I hope this was an enlightening episode for you. I hope you will be able to subscribe so that as we get into the next episodes of buying and selling of property in Kenya, you will be able to join us. We've covered Ardhisasa today. You can contact Mr. Jehian directly. He's given you this email, jehiak@gmail.com. If it's something you need support around Ardhisasa that an individual can't provide, please make sure to go to the Ardhisasa website and reach out to their customer service team. I will also in the description put the same email from Mr. Njehia and the email for the customer service team so that you can be able to reach out to them directly. So thank you very much for sticking with us. Please remember to subscribe so that you don't miss upcoming episodes. I hope you found this episode super helpful. So make sure you are able to share it with someone who is either buying and selling of land, because this episode could save them a ton of headache as they try to navigate the system. Until next time, stay informed, stay safe, and keep learning.